Have you ever heard the expression, only when you love and appreciate yourself will you be able to help others? Yeah, I know the saying might sound a bit cliche, but my hope is that after this video, you'll realize how true the saying is. I want to be honest here. I would wish that I would love myself and appreciate myself more than I do at the moment. Thankfully though, I have learned a couple techniques and a couple tips and tricks to get better at loving and appreciating yourself. And that is what I want to share in this video. And if you have techniques, tips, or tricks you want to share on how to better love yourself and appreciating yourself, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. I think we all would love to hear what kind of tips, tricks, and techniques you use. Start by grabbing a piece of paper and write down 5 things that you think you are good at. So this could be a social skill, an attribute that you like about yourself, or anything else that makes you feel good about yourself. The thing is that due to our busy lives, we tend to forget what we are good at. And if you don't appreciate or love yourself as much as you would like, this could be the first step. Where do you want to go? Have you ever asked yourself the question, where do I want to be in 5 years? Chances are you have. What are your thoughts right now when you think about that question? Whatever your thoughts are, it's important that you think big. So anything is possible. So really take the time, maybe grab a cup of coffee and ask yourself where you want to be in 5 years, how you plan to get to where you want to go, and what your goals are and how you plan to achieve them. It could also be that when you ask yourself this question, you start to feel uncomfortable and sad. Don't worry, I've been in the same position and there is a way to tackle this issue. What helped for me is thinking in baby steps. So that means you take your goal that you have written down and then you start to divide that goal into micro tasks. So understandable, clear micro tasks. I want to explain to you what I mean with small, controllable micro tasks. In this example, we have come to the conclusion that we want a different job because our current job drains our energy and we don't like it and we don't feel satisfied when we return from work. The second thing we want is that we would like to meet more people that have similar interests and people that give you energy and people that are willing to support us on our journey. Before we proceed, do you notice that these things are actually 2 separate goals? Because getting a new job is completely different from meeting new people. Don't worry, this is what often happens when we start to think free. Then thoughts pop into our mind, and it's important that we capture these thoughts because then we can divide these goals into small steps. So what we are going to do is I'm going to walk you through the first goal that we have decided in this example. So we want a new job. How are we going about getting a new job? So the first step we could take is write down a list of 5 jobs that we would want to do. And keep in mind, this has to be a list that if it comes down to the 5th job, you would still want to do that job. The reason that that's important is because if we don't want to do the 5th job, what is it worth of writing it down? Because we want progression in terms of our last job, because we don't want our energy drained again like the last time. So it's really important that even the 5th option is a job that in our eyes is better than the job we have right now. That means that the first job on the list is the most favorable one. In this example, we are going to try to get the most favorable job. What are micro tasks that come with getting a new job? Can you do the work you do? Do you have the required papers? So a task that you could ask yourself is, do I need extra courses or education to get the required job? If the answer turns out to be yes when you check if you can do the job you want to do, then you need to ask yourself, and that is a task as well, am I willing to do extra education or courses for the new job? The answer that you give here puts you on a different path. If the answer is yes, in this case, there might be more small tasks that come your way. You need to check where you can do the extra education that is required for the job. Is there a way that I can work and study? So can I do a combination of the two? If I can't, what are the costs that I have to pay to do the extra education or course? Or does the company I work for cover the costs? If your answer is no to the last question, then you are going to have to check, can I do the job that I want to do with the current papers that I have, and do I have the required skill set? If the answer is yes to that question, then there is no extra thing that you need to do. But if the answer is no, and you are not willing to do extra education or courses, then you are going to have to check your list again and see if there's a job in the list that you can do with your current diplomas, education, whatever. Now, it could be that you don't have the required skills, papers, or anything for the job that you would like to do. So all the jobs in the list you don't have the required papers for. This is highly unlikely, of course, so I think that there's at least one job that you can do. But say that there is no job that you would like to do that you have the required papers for. Well, then you could also contact the company that offers a job in the list that you would want to do. And you could ask them, if they would want to give you internship, so that you can learn and educate as you go. Now, I am well aware that this might not be normal procedures, but you can always try, right? Because I think that somebody that has the right papers and is qualified to do the job, but is less motivated, probably loses to somebody that is super willing to learn with a hands-on approach and is really willing to take the extra steps to master the skills that are required for that job. So I think that would always be a thing you could try. What I'm trying to say with this is try not to think in the traditional way only. Try to think outside of the box and see, okay, if I don't have the required skill set or the right papers, are there different ways that I can still gain the skills that are required and get the job that I want without extra education in the traditional sense? These are all things that come your way. So in the end, it could be that you have quite a lot of micro tasks, but my hope is that if you apply this technique to any goal you have, it becomes less overwhelming and you have a better sense of where to go and what to do. Continue like this until all your questions are answered and that you have a clear path to work on your goals. Now, this can always be adjusted if you find that there are more tasks that you have to do along the road, as long as you have a place to start now. That is what this is for. Why we work like this is so that hopefully you don't get overwhelmed and that you become a little bit more positive when you think about your future, because we now created perspective. And also, I hope that you are a bit happier because now each step towards your goal is one step closer to achieving it.